Now it's time to have a look at the French newspapers. Nick Rushworth joins me on set now for the French newspapers. Of course, Syria really still all over them, isn't it, Nick?
Hi to you, Stuart, and hi to everybody. Le Figaro, of course, had that scoop on Tuesday, the interview with President Assad of Syria, threatening France ahead of the debate which takes place today, Wednesday, in the National Assembly and the Senate about what possible response France should take. Here, Le Figaro, there you can see Le débat qui divise la gauche et la droite. So the paper there saying what we're seeing now is a debate that will take place along classic partisan lines. You've got the left wing, which is in power, backing President Hollande's call for a firm response, a punishment to Syria. No specifics about what that could be, but of course we're talking here about military intervention in some context with the US perhaps. While the UMP, the opposition party, is basically, its position overall is largely circumspect. It wants to see any action taken place within the context of a UN mandate.
You've been looking at the editorials, haven't you, Nick? You pulled out the Le Figaro editorial, looking at the difficult situation for France as it enters this debate.
Well, Le Figaro on its front page editorial has a headline saying that the whole debate should be judged and seen as a debate in the conditional form. So would, might. Hollande, of course, had no way of knowing that British MPs would reject the military option. He has to wait now till Congress comes up with its stance. France has repeated it will not do anything alone. The paper there is arguing that this debate would have been better before a decision was made not before, but after a decision in Congress. France, of course, in this situation finds itself in what the paper says is a delicate position.
Now, Libération, they've come up with one of their kind of poignant front pages. They do this quite often, don't they?
Well, this is Assad there, a picture of him on Libération, and their headline, La guerre qui fragmente. So that's the war which divides, the divisive war. We saw earlier in the year the Mali intervention, didn't we, Stuart? There was a big consensus among French politicians about that intervention in Mali, not at all this time about Syria. Libération, in its editorial, is saying that now we've got a debate this Wednesday, and we should have had a vote at the end of it. So the mood, perhaps, as we look at the debate in the coming hours in Parliament, will be, well, whether there will at some point be a debate. That's what I take from Libé's editorial this Wednesday.
Now, if you're watching us this time yesterday, we were covering the story that the number of refugees has gone above the 2 million mark from Syria. Nick's in an article in Le Monde about the chances of any of those refugees coming to France.
Well, Le Monde has this piece which really points the finger at Paris, saying that it has not done enough for Syrian refugees. Just 700 have been invited into the country since January. That's a marked contrast with efforts in other European countries, including France's neighbour, Germany. Now, Germany, on the request of the UNHCR, is planning to take in 5,000 Syrian refugees in the coming days. Austria is planning to take in 700. Several other countries have said, yes, we will help now, because we've got 5,000 Syrian refugees each day. Now, France has not taken its position on this. In that article, Le Monde quotes Pierre Henry, who is the head of the NGO France Terre d'Asile, France Land of Asylum. And he's saying that, well, no, the excuses from the government are not enough. They're saying it's a pretext that when they say that the asylum system in France is full and that France has to do a lot more.
And finally, Nick, another top story in the French press. It's about the horrors of war, this one, isn't it?
Well, we're seeing the horrors of war now with Syria and the whole intractable dilemma we're faced, all of us, about what can be done. And now a tremor through the spine will go through the people of France as they read the front pages with this story about the President of Germany going to visit Oradour-sur-Glane, the village, which, of course, is, for the French, one of the worst massacres of the Second World War. It is a historic moment for a German president, the first time ever for him him to go to Oradour. Oradour, 640 people massacred, 642. An absolute horror of Nazi Germany. The boys and girls were separated, men and women separated. The men were shot in the legs so they would die slowly. Of course, the German SS were scared that the Normandy landings had to just take place. They didn't know what was going on. And so that massacre took place. The Le Figaro has a photo of the one boy who survived among those villagers in Oradour-sur-Glane. His name is Roger Godefroy. He died in 2001. But that massacre really will be dominating people's mindset today in France as the debate in Syria takes place, Stuart, which, of course, is also a horror.
Of course, we'll continue to cover, of course, that visit as well today. Nick, thanks very much. Nick Rushworth with the French newspapers here on France 24. Now, another emotional report coming up for you shortly, in fact, here on France 24. Today's focus is in Morocco, with illegal immigrants who face a life of exploitation, violence and sexual abuse. And also in the next half hour, sport. Wales versus Macedonia, not normally a top international fixture, but it is set to be the first game for the world's most expensive player, Gareth Bale, since his move to Real Madrid. All that coming up for you in the next half hour. Stay with us if you can.